Hello, my name is Kushal. I work as a specialist occupational therapist in a stroke team in London. Today I'm going to talk about a very important topic. Now this topic not only relevant for stroke, it is also relevant for any neurological condition like brain injury or MS. This is very important, and that is tone or spasticity. Now, when we talk about tone and spasticity, this video is simply for people who has a diagnosis of some neurological condition. At clinician level, this can create lots of debates, and there's a lot of definition how to assess. So I'm not going to make it that complicated. I'm going to keep it very simple, because this is a concept you need to understand from day one, particularly if you have a stroke or if you have a long-term condition. Because if you don't monitor these things, then as time goes, things gets harder for you. So I have spoken about the importance of weight bearing, and that is one of the key strategies to control this tone or spasticity. But first of all, let's talk about what is tone, what is spasticity. Okay, so basically in our body, we have two groups of muscle everywhere. One causes this movement and one causes this movement. So one brings it close and one takes it away. Similarly, in forearm, one group of muscle does that, another group of muscle does that. So when I'm flexing my elbow, my bicep is becoming shorter and the triceps at the back is becoming longer. Whereas when I'm straightening my elbow, this bicep is becoming longer and the triceps are becoming shorter. So how it works? The brain sends a signal to those two groups of opposing group of muscles, and they work in harmony. Now, if you have a neurological condition, that harmony gets disrupted. That is the simplest way I can explain. It is a lot more complicated. Some people talk about velocity and all that kind of things, but that is really not important in terms of management plan. For your understanding, the basic thing you need to know: what is tone, what is contraction. That's the bit I would come in a minute. So when that imbalance goes away, what happens? The flexors in the arm become stronger. So you would see that your arm, it gets harder to straighten the elbow. It always remains bent slightly. Or in the foot, what might happen? In the foot, what might happen? It might go stretch out. That is the extensor tone. So now let's talk about that. So what happens? The electricity that was evenly correctly distributed between flexors and extensors is disrupted. So the most of the electricity goes here. And for any reason like stroke, if your muscles are not overactive, what happens over the time? The muscles are normally like a rubber band. You can stretch it, you can shorten it, but that stretchability becomes less and the muscle starts to contract. That's why if this muscle is contracted, you try to straighten your elbow, you can't. And if you push it, it becomes painful because that muscle is stretching. So that is tone. To start with, the hand can be, after a stroke, hand can be very floppy. That is called low tone. And when it gets tight, it gets high tone. So gradually, normally with time, it develops. So the exercises that I will talk about later on, or I have spoken about other videos, have a look. They talks about the importance of weight bearing and other strategies that I will cover in other videos. We can talk about. So that is tone or spasticity. Now, while the muscles are still stretchable, although they might be tight, but they can be stretched a little bit. They have the movement. That is called spasticity. So tone starts, and as it gets stronger and stronger, it develops towards spasticity. But the next step from spasticity is contracture, where the muscles are permanently contracted and you can't release them. So a high tone muscle, you can stretch it, But if it is a contracture, if you try to stretch it, because the muscle has become very solid, it causes pain. So in any neurological condition, the important factor is to look at the signs of this tone or spasticity. Your hand or leg will feel heavy, particularly the hamstring can be tight. So keep an eye on it. And if you see any tightness developing, ask your therapist, what can you do? There are lots of things. There are positions, stretches, splints, a lot of strategies can be used. So I hope it makes sense. I've kept it simple. If you have any questions, if you're still not very clear, if you have any questions, let me know. I will try to explain as best as I can. Thanks for watching my video. As always, keep on sharing my videos with your friends and family, or any within TikTok, but I wish you all the best.